Welcome to Brainwaves and Breakthroughs.
All right, so we've got this stack of articles you sent over about algorithms.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm pretty fascinated already.
Really?
Yeah, you've really piqued my interest, I have to say.
Well, it's great to hear.
You know, we've done some deep dives on some pretty complex topics.
We have.
But this one, it feels like it's something that's so relevant to everyone.
Absolutely.
But it's also kind of hidden, right?
Yeah, it's like this,
Like we're all experiencing it, but we don't really know how it works.
it's like a hidden force
Exactly.
that's shaping so much of what we do online.
And offline too, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
Like just think about how many decisions you make in a day.
Right.
That are influenced by some kind of algorithm.
It's incredible when you start to think about it.
It really is. So maybe we should start with like a basic understanding.
Yeah, for sure.
For anyone who's like, okay, algorithms, what are we even talking about here?
Right.
One of these articles, algorithms, nothing works without them anymore, had a pretty good definition. It said that an algorithm is basically a set of instructions for solving a problem or completing some kind of task.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So it's like a recipe.
Exactly.
You've got your ingredients, which in this case would be data.
Yeah.
And then you've got the step-by-step instructions to get to like the desired outcome.
It's like baking a cake, but instead of flour and sugar.
You've got data points.
Precisely.
And the end result is like whatever that algorithm is designed to do.
Exactly. And those algorithms are everywhere.
Oh, I know. Tell me about it.
Like, think about the last time you used Google Maps.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started.
Right. To get around traffic or to find the fastest route.
I mean, I use it every single day.
Exactly. You can thank an algorithm for that.
Seriously?
It's not magic, it's algorithms.
That's amazing.
But it's not just about convenience either.
What do you mean?
These algorithms are actually changing how we experience the world around us.
Okay, now you're blowing my mind a little bit.
Especially in the digital realm.
Oh.
Think about your social media feeds for a second.
Oh boy. Okay, so we're going there.
Yeah.
Okay, so those endless scrolls on Instagram, on Facebook, on X.
Exactly what's happening behind the scenes there.
Yeah. I mean, is it just showing me everything in order?
Not quite.
Okay, I had a feeling.
There's another article here
Okay.
called Everything You Need to Know About Social Media Algorithms.
Catchy title.
It explains how platforms like those you mentioned, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
Yeah.
they use these algorithms to choose what you see.
So there's some serious filtering going on.
Oh yeah, it's not as simple as just showing you everything chronologically.
Okay, so if it's not chronological, then what's the deciding factor?
Well, engagement is a big one.
Engagement.
The more you interact with certain types of posts.
So liking, sharing, commenting.
Exactly. The more the algorithm assumes, that's what you want to see more of.
So it's like they're trying to create this like personalized bubble of content
Kind of, yeah.
that they think we'll be interested in. And that's where things get a little interesting, don't they?
Yeah, that's where the potential downsides come in.
Right, because what about all the other stuff
Precisely.
that we might be missing out on?
That's the big question.
Because we're stuck in this echo chamber of content that the algorithm thinks we like.
Exactly. And that's what we'll unpack in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, so stay tuned, everybody, because it's about to get really real. So we're talking about algorithms kind of like deciding what we see online.
Right, and prioritizing the stuff that keeps us engaged.
Even if it means we end up in these like echo chambers of the same opinions and ideas.
Exactly. And that can be a bit of a slippery slope.
Right.
Because if we're only seeing what the algorithm thinks we want to see.
Are we really in control of our own information anymore?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It's a little unnerving when you actually think about it.
It is. It's like
we're being spoon-fed our information instead of...
Yeah, instead of like exploring a whole buffet. You're just getting the same dish over and over again.
Because the algorithm thinks it knows what you like.
Exactly.
But how can we even have like real conversations or make good decisions if we're not exposed to different perspectives?
It's like trying to understand a whole country.
By only visiting one city.
Exactly. You're missing out on so much of the picture.
And it's not just about like limiting our understanding.
Right.
It can actually reinforce biases too, can it?
Absolutely. There's an article here called Attitudes Toward Algorithms Used on Social Media.
Okay.
And it talks about this very issue.
So how does that work?
Well, let's say you're scrolling through your feed.
Okay.
And you keep seeing articles or videos that confirm your existing beliefs.
Right.
The algorithm picks up on that engagement.
Because I'm liking or sharing those things.
Exactly. And it starts showing you more and more of that same type of content.
So it's like amplifying my biases even if I don't realize it.
Precisely, even if those biases aren't really doing you any favors.
Okay, so now I'm really starting to see the potential downsides here.
Right. It's not just about filtering content.
It's about potentially shaping our worldview in ways that might not be
so beneficial in the long run.
Yeah, and that's a bit concerning.
It is, and it's something to be really mindful of.
Especially as these algorithms get more and more sophisticated.
Exactly. They're getting better and better predicting
what we want to see.
What we'll engage with.
But is there a way to break free from these filter bubbles?
That's a great question, and that's exactly what we'll dive into
in the next part of our deep dive.
So stick around.
So we've talked about the downsides of algorithms, but it can't be all bad, right?
Right.
There's got to be a way to use these things to our advantage.
Absolutely.
Without, getting stuck in these echo chambers or having our worldview narrowed.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah. So tell me, is there hope for us?
There is. There is. It all starts with awareness, I think.
Oh, okay, so like knowing that those social media platforms are really designed to keep me scrolling does make me think twice about, hitting like on every post that makes me angry.
Right. Like, is that actually what you want to be seeing more of?
Exactly.
And that reminds me of a point in one of these articles. Social media algorithms exploit how we learn from our peers.
Okay.
And they were suggesting that these social media companies could be a little more transparent.
Okay, so tell me why I'm seeing this.
Exactly, like little explainers.
I like that.
Hey, you're seeing this because a lot of your friends are sharing it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or this is trending in your region.
Oh, that's interesting. I'd be curious to see that.
Right. Just a little bit of context.
Yeah.
To help you understand what's going on behind the scenes.
So instead of just being blindly manipulated.
Right. It puts you back in the driver's seat a little bit.
I like that a lot, actually.
And once you have that awareness.
Yeah.
You can make more conscious choices about what you engage with.
It's like taking back that control.
Right. Exactly.
Instead of just being passively fed whatever the algorithm decides.
It's about being more proactive about the information you're consuming.
I like that a lot.
And the good news is algorithms are always evolving.
Oh, so it's a moving target.
In a way, yeah. And that article about Google's PageRank algorithm.
Okay.
It really highlights how much things have changed.
Yeah, what worked even a couple years ago.
Is completely different now.
It's outdated.
So we have to keep learning and adapting as these technologies get more sophisticated.
So we got to stay on our toes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can't just set it and forget it.
Right.
We have to be actively engaged in this process.
Because the stakes are pretty high, right?
They are. And especially when you think about the ethical implications.
Okay, yeah, that's something I wanted to make sure we touched on.
Because as algorithms become more complex, the need for human oversight becomes even more important.
So it's not enough to just have algorithms that work.
Exactly.
They have to work ethically.
Right. We have to make sure that things like data privacy and ethical considerations are built into these systems from the ground up.
And that protecting data privacy as a baseline for responsible AI article really emphasize that.
It's not something we can just ignore.
It's fundamental.
But it's about building trust in these systems.
So it's like a call to action in a way.
It is.
For all of us to be more mindful of how we're interacting with these technologies. Absolutely. And to demand better, right?
Exactly. We have more power than we think we do.
I like that thought.
We just have to be willing to use it.
It's been fascinating, I have to say.
That has.
I've learned a lot.
Good.
I always thought of algorithms as this kind of scary, mysterious thing.
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing that, they can be used for good or bad.
Right. It depends on how we use them.
But we have more control than I thought.
That's the key takeaway.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive. It's been enlightening.
It's been my pleasure.
And for everyone listening, thanks for tuning in. And remember, the next time you're scrolling through your phone or getting directions or doing anything online, really take a second to think about those algorithms at work. But more importantly, remember that you're not just along for the ride. You have the power to shape how these technologies impact your world. And that's a pretty powerful thought, don't you think? Until next time, everybody.